It's Thursday, 9/19/2024. I'm coming in to the end of living homeless, traveling around, uh, the ending of a tumultuous relationship which lasted this year. For like the last, I don't know, a week or two, I've been just like out here, mainly uh, at my camp. As you can see, it's isolated by myself. I'm trying to get my life back together, get a job where I can use my network and skills and try to help an organization grow and thrive. It's been tough. Like, this has been a tough one. I had a room set up through a realtor close to Boston where I'll be working. That fell through. So that realtor tried to get me another room, and in the process of that, but I'm stuck. Like, I'm stuck out here. Um, I'm trying to restructure my life so that I can live a more quality existence. Like, one thing I've learned going through this over the last year is the importance of relationships and the importance of routine and structure in our lives, and developing health and a quality of life through that. Uh, I've spent a lot of time observing other people, people that are homeless, people that aren't homeless, experiencing the embarrassment and the shame and the stigma around homelessness. And yeah, it was an eye opener, I guess. Uh, I have more love for people and myself, but I also see more of the rottenness of people and in society in general. Like, one of the things I really understand is, like, being out here and having to stay outside. Um, it's a motivation killer. Like, I completely understand how a person either becoming addicted to substances through their homelessness, like their poverty and homelessness leads them to seek out, you know, instant gratification, just that mechanism of something to seek after, like alcohol, drugs. It takes effort. You got to hustle. It gives you something to do. Like, if you got nothing to do, it's hard to get motivated and get out of bed or whatever. It's just like a terrible feeling. Um, our society really puts a strong social pressure on people that are not contributing, or people just don't have the means and abilities to take care of themselves, and look good, feel good, be healthy. It's it's a really difficult state of being. So I've really just trying to get my life back together. I backed myself into a hole here. Here I am, stuck. This is like the place for me to go. Um, my job should be shored up. I should be good there. So I'll probably have to depend on, kindness from friends as maybe a place to stay until I can get a room close to Boston and just start working and hustling and making money again. Um, so yeah, I really feel for people that are stuck homeless, living outside. Even people that are in the shelter system trying to get their lives back together are stuck in a situation. Um, Not to say that I agree with, people leeching off of our social service systems and, just indefinitely contributing nothing to society and, getting uh, kind of like a free ride or whatever. I don't agree with that either. I guess it's like, you got all different types of people that experience poverty on different levels for various reasons. And, you know, somebody that works in addictions, understands addictions. I was really interested in what the impact of addiction was on our homeless crisis that we have. And I would say that it's great. It's probably a large majority of people impacted by addiction out here. So, yeah, just wrapping up. I'm going to a protest today. I've been finding things to do, trying to stay active. I spent the day with my friend yesterday. Without that type of interaction, I can tell you right now, if I didn't have, my friends and family and social networks and things that I'm interested in, it probably would have done some serious damage to me. It takes a huge toll on the human psyche, our emotions, and like ultimately, like I could stay out in Boston homeless and travel around, but I don't like to be around people. I don't like the circumstances. I don't like when people bring it up. I don't even like to talk about it, really. It's because it's so stigmatized. People don't care. They really don't. The whole addictions thing is the same way. Like you try to tell people you struggle with addictions in the past or you're in recovery. I think a lot of people that don't understand or aren't involved, they'll be nice to you, yeah, but they view it as a weakness. I don't know, like there's this new kind of term that kind of explains like these under the surface discriminations, like microaggressions. I've experienced it, from all angles of, some of my more taboo issues, addiction, just going through this whole process of what homelessness feels like. And yeah, it's frowned upon. Even if people are nice to you about it, it's not understood. So our society needs to do better. And I think like one of the biggest things that I'll advocate for is shelter first. I don't like housing first. It's too expensive. We can't afford that. And that just leaves a lot of people out in the cold. And it takes forever a lot of times. Like, like housing first isn't a fast thing. If someone's living outside, if they're addicted to drugs or if they have mental health issues or, or if they're just down on their luck outside, living in their car, living in a tent, for whatever reason they don't want to go in the shelter system. Like the shelter system might be a struggle for them. Maybe it's not a good shelter. Maybe there's some abuses going on within that shelter or whatever. But for whatever reason a person is staying outside, I believe it should be a shelter first philosophy. And along with the shelter first, I believe there should be appropriate outreach done for people that are homeless staying outside. So you go, you outreach, and then you say, hey, we have a shelter bed available for you. There's always a shelter bed available for you. In that given area, if they're taken up, then there's a bed available somewhere else where you can access your resources. You are always going to be offered a shelter bed, which is not expensive. It's a communal living situation. It's not ideal, but it gives you structure and it puts you around the people and the services that you need to develop in your life. You can't develop living outside. You just can't. You can't get a job. Like these are the complaints. You shower regularly. It's hard. You're dirty. Like you come with like the, living in a tent. Like you're really not super clean. You know what I mean? You take baby wipe showers. That's what I do if I have to, you know. But yeah, shelter first, appropriate outreach where you just offer people shelter first. There's always a bed available. And then from there, that person can access regular scheduled meals, interaction with case managers and workers at the shelter, and then they can start working on developing in their lives. I guess the whole purpose of doing this was not only to shine a light on a lot of the mismanagement of the funds and then like a lack of effort from the different nonprofits, charities, social service providers and stuff to actually solve these problems, although a lot of people have worked hard, but just going in the wrong direction. It's just a big money suck. It's a waste. Trickle down economics. And then there's a lot of greedy people out there taking, like Father Bill's Mainspring. Like I had an issue there. They treated me like shit. I was disgusted, and I took a look at their tax filings. Small organization says they got 362 employees or something like that. That's bullshit. They doubled funding from 2018 to now because there's a lot of money out there. What are they doing with it? A lot of these organizations, they parade around under the guise of goodness, and on the other end, they got a lot of these executives and people that are hiding money, moving money around, taking what they shouldn't. They have no clue about the population that they serve. Probably don't even show up to the shelter to visit them. They don't care. They're just terrible, terrible people. So, over the next year as I write this book, I'll be digging into that organization. That's going to probably be my whipping boy because they have terrible reviews on Google. Terrible place. They treat people horribly. They're just liars and they're corrupt. A bunch of privileged type people up on like the higher echelons of the company that have absolutely no idea about the population they serve, and they don't care. It's a money game to them. They're animals. So I'm going to be looking into stuff like that, and I'm going to be really expounding on the solutions. And the solution in my mind is shelter first. Effective outreach where you offer shelter first and foremost to everybody, and trying to find ways, efficient, cost effective, compassionate ways to help people work their way out of homelessness or poverty, addiction, mental health, whatever it is that is assailing them and causing their circumstances. I can understand if it's a person's situation, but when outside forces are contributing to a person's suffering in Massachusetts in the United States of America, the wealthiest, or if not the wealthiest, one of the wealthiest states on the planet, there's problems, and it's not a financial problem. It's an ethical problem. It's a moral problem, and it cuts deep into the social fabric that we all operate and exist in. And a lot of people don't know. It's not their problem. They don't care. But we're all people. I know we all like to think that we are good and we want to help and make things better. So I guess this has been my biggest contribution. So yeah, definitely nervous, scared, like just really want to get out of the circumstances I created for myself. You know what they say, you dig a hole deep enough and it's hard to climb out of it, but I'm working on it. Just being patient. I have some ideas plans and backup plans upon backup plans. And it's been a long time, and it's been a struggle, but it's been good too at the same time. I guess at this stage, when this is said and done, I do not feel guilty about living a good, like a comfortable life. I think that, in this society, when people work hard and they earn their money, or sometimes people just have money, whatever it may be, but they contribute, they're active in their communities, and I think that's fine. I think everybody deserves to have a good, happy life, and that's my philosophy. I don't hold it against anybody. I think, like, my biggest complaint is when people are given power, funding, whatever, and their job is to improve the lives of others, and they just don't do it, or they just take the money and don't do it, whatever. Like that's got to stop. That's got to stop. I've done this whole thing on my own. A few people have contributed a little bit here and there. Not a lot of money. Luckily, I used money that I'd saved. This wasn't a broken penniless to success story. Like, I knew that I didn't want to be homeless for the rest of my life, and I didn't want to get in a bad situation, so I prepared for this. But I can't do this forever. Eventually, my finances will run thin, and I'm going to be in trouble. So just getting back on track, and I'll just keep reporting on, like, what the after is, and write this book, fill it full of statistical evidence, and let people learn about what happens with taxpayer dollars and the monies that go to fixing these social issues, such as, like, homelessness and addiction and things like this, and all these things that play a role in the populations of people that a lot of middle class or upper class people don't really have a lot of interaction with. So that's where I'm at. The leaves are falling here. It's interesting if you stay out here and you see nature and its transitions. I'm just watching sticks fall for some reason, but it's a good term for it. It's fall. And as this happens, it's making me more anxious to be done with this, because I literally have 11 days left till this whole adventure is over. Well, this part of the adventure.